With WWE 13, it's all about the Attitude. The Attitude Era, that is, that quaint time during the late 90s when wrestling storylines began to push the envelope in terms of violence, language, and sexuality. If you didn't like it, well, you could suck it. WWE 13 has you reliving key matches from the Attitude Era in an all-new play mode dedicated to the sensationalistic time period. Yet before you go shave your head and don your Austin 316 shirt, there's one important thing to consider. The controls and play mechanics are nearly identical to WWE 12. So if you weren't bowled over with last year's gameplay, you won't be springboarding over this year's version either. Replacing last year's annoying Road to WrestleMania mode is the Attitude Era, a series of 7 character-driven chapters that follow the trials and tribulations of such icons as Shawn Michaels, The Undertaker, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Mankind, The Rock, Kane, and others across over 60 events. Each themed time period, such as the Rise of DX or WrestleMania 15, has you controlling different wrestlers through a fixed number of historical matches. Each match has a main objective as well as 2 or 3 optional objectives. While the main objective is generally to win the match, bonus objectives might involve things like whacking someone with a chair, wearing down an opponent's strength to a critical level, or performing character-specific finishing moves. Completing all the objectives in a match will unlock one of 98 extra features, consisting of characters, championships, arenas, bonus matches, and attire options. You'll also be rewarded with video clips and photos of the featured events as you progress.
Look out, Vince! Oh my God! McMahon is down!
The mode is a substantial improvement over last year's Road to WrestleMania, as the objectives let you actually wrestle instead of trying to adhere to scripted, highly restrictive scenarios. By making the historical objectives optional, you can enjoy the action without worrying about failing an event simply because you weren't in the right place at the right time. Fans will also get a kick out of seeing their favorite wrestlers and events replayed through the game's engine, from the flashy entrances and video segments to the corny commentary and dramatic run-ins. And if you miss an optional objective or two, you're free to revisit matches at any time to complete them.
Oh my God! The cell wall! The cell wall is broken open!
The WWE Universe from last year's game is by and large the same in WWE 13, although there are the expected enhancements to the customization. Once again, you'll choose which wrestlers to play from any match on the day's title card. You can directly control a specific wrestler, have the computer simulate matches, or run interference in a match as before. The biggest change is that you're no longer restricted to a set schedule, as you can now create major or minor shows for any day of the week. In addition to deciding which wrestlers appear in a given show, you can incorporate custom arenas, create pay-per-view events, and edit themes, logos, match lengths, and title belts.
Ooh, what a vicious backbreaker!
Sadly, there's still no formal GM mode or true career option, so you can't build a created wrestler's stats and attributes over time by earning money and spending it on various things like costumes, training, and so forth. Yet those who enjoyed tinkering with matches in WWE 12 will be pleased with WWE 13's options, from creating linear or branching stories to incorporating new moves to further personalize created wrestlers.
That'll leave a mark.
Community features are a big part of the game, with players able to upload and rate storylines, created wrestlers, and arenas with other online users, provided they have an online access pass. The action online is an improvement over WWE 12, as you can now fill out matches with the AI instead of having to wait for human opponents, although there are still connection hiccups here and there, as well as some lag with larger matches.
The announce table's been annihilated!
Although the design has undergone several changes, WWE 13's gameplay is the same as last year's game, for better or worse. Strikes, Irish whips, grapples, pins, and finishers are all initiated by a single button press, with the left analog stick acting as a modifier. Once you have an opponent locked in a grapple, you can once again target individual body parts to gradually weaken an opponent, increasing the likelihood that he or she will become groggy or dazed. The drawback with the gameplay is that the simplified controls make the action seem more like a series of quick-time events than a strategic combination of moves. Sometimes feels as if you're watching the game more than playing.
Ooh, what a vicious backbreaker!
The reversal system is the most irritating holdover from last year's game, as the timing required to execute a reversal or a block is a fraction of a second. Since the on-screen prompt for a reversal disappears as fast as it appears, it's almost easier to just rhythmically pump the trigger and hope for the best. Even then, it's a crapshoot of whether the game decides to register your input or ignore it. While the developers included some feedback that says whether you were too late or too fast, these messages are not all that helpful since everything happens in the blink of an eye. Finishing moves are also executed with a single button press. After you've built up enough momentum during a match, you'll receive an on-screen button prompt when you can use one of your wrestler's signature moves. You'll have to be in the right position on the mat in order for the prompt to appear, but other than that, it's simply a matter of tapping the button at the right time and watching as the computer takes over. The computer AI relies more on its uncanny ability to execute reversals than its intelligence inside the ring, so those who had no trouble with the competition in last year's game will find little resistance in WWE 13's lineup, even on the highest difficulty setting.
And there's a hard shot delivered by the game.
WWE 13's presentation once again opts for a broadcast approach to matches instead of showing on-screen meters or health bars. The enhanced graphics engine doesn't radically change the look of the game, but it does offer some noticeable improvement over last year's presentation. There are fewer awkward-looking moments, for example, so your wrestler won't swing aimlessly into empty space if your opponent is nearby. Blows will now connect properly as the game now adjusts attack animations so they seek out the target. The collision detection seems to have improved as well, reducing the instances of arms and legs passing through bodies, as was frequently the case in WWE 12. The player models are well detailed and expressive despite being a bit plastic-like in appearance, and the transition animations look more natural. Commentary is still repetitive, but the announcers do a better job at describing the action inside the ring.
Oh my gosh! Watch it! Oh my gosh! What a kick out of nowhere!
If you enjoy creating your own shows, forming your own factions, and designing your own stable of pro wrestlers, you'll view WWE 13's Creation Suite as the best there is, the best there was, and possibly the best there will be, with options more diverse than Mick Foley's wrestling personas. Yet the gameplay, AI, and controls have not significantly advanced from last year's title, making WWE 13 more uneven than the people's eyebrow. Fans of WWE 12 will find the amusing Attitude Era reason enough to purchase the game, but those who felt last year's in-ring action was a step back from earlier wrestling titles should be reluctant to accept a rematch.
Oh, and he eats the canvas! How much more extreme will this match become?
See this and other GT shows and game reviews on the GT Originals iOS app, available now on the App Store.